Welcome to the Sky Sports Cricket Podcast. Mel Jones is up in Birmingham tonight doing the women's T20, so you've got me for company alongside Eoin and KP. What's the score? 99 for 4 England. That target is 371. So a slight recovery here from Ben Stokes and Ben Duckett, with Australia missing Nathan Lyon, of course. Just put this match into context for us, you two. Do England have any chance?
I think it rests on tonight and tomorrow morning. Skipper Ben Stokes has brought a bit of stability to... the 100 has just come up, 100 for 4, which is getting a huge cheer at the moment. But I do think it comes down to how big a role Stokes can play, and Duckett has been in fine form, 98 in the first innings. If they can build on that tomorrow morning and then basically not leave too much for the guys to hit tomorrow, because I don't think they will try and bat the full day. I think they'll try and chase this total down. So I haven't written them off. It is a bit of a long shot, as Australia have bowled outstandingly well and played really well in this test match.
Yeah, we'll come on to that. Kevin, just the fact that Ben Stokes has kind of done it before, not exactly a similar scenario, but Headingley 4 years ago, does that have any influence over what Australia might be thinking as he walks out to bat?
I think Australia thinking, and also Ben Stokes thinking, yes. And also what happened last week up in Birmingham, where Australia managed to get over the line in that test match. There's absolutely no demons in the wicket. The weather that we're seeing here now, we always talk about when the sun's out, how beautiful it is to bat at Lord's. And I mean, I think he's just crunched away another boundary here. So that's 3 boundaries in the last couple of overs. But I agree.
This is where Australia will miss Nathan Lyon, isn't it?
Yes,
they had that brilliant start from the seam as Cummins picking up 2 key wickets there, and then 2 left-handers in. Yeah. What would Cummins turn to Lyon?
He would have loved to have, and the England players were very good in their defence to head at the start, and then decided, no, I'm on here. But I agree with Morgs when he says tonight and tomorrow morning. I think tonight is vital. If they don't lose another wicket tonight, there will be Australians going to bed thinking, we need an early wicket
Not
tomorrow.
Again.
Yes,
Not again.
Exactly.
Well, let's go back to the start of that. I mean, it's been an extraordinary day's play, an extraordinary game in many ways.
Yes.
So Australia were 130 for 2 this morning, leading by 221. They added another 149 in 56.1 overs, but that bare statistic doesn't kind of explain the extraordinary nature of the cricket. There was hardly a ball pitched up.
Well, there were very, very few. The least balls pitched up ever in a test match, I think, in England, which is extraordinary when you think of England's attack and the bowlers that they have at their disposal. They have one bowler in Josh Tongue that the odd time tips the 90-mile-an-hour mark, as opposed to the Australians, who can all bowl late 80s. But there's clearly something in the wicket where it's coming off a little bit too pace, and the odd ball is showing a little bit steeper bounce. But having that control, Ricky Ponting did a masterclass the other day that we sat back and watched, and he talked about staying on the shot and looking to score off each and every ball, but the most important part was staying in the shot, and it's clearly very difficult to do on this wicket. But for a lot of England's ploy this morning, Khawaja and Smith played outstandingly well, and it was only when they chose to score more often than not, actually, they became unstuck a little bit.
And Smith was the key wicket. KP, A, he'd batted so brilliantly in the first innings. Yeah. B, he was scoring a little bit more freely than Usman Khawaja, and able to take that short ball on. And the way he got out rather suggests what Eoin said there, that the pitch was just a little bit too pace, and that's what made it difficult. Yeah,
the wicket has been too pace throughout the test match. Speaking to Joe Root on the morning of day 3, he talked about the two-pace nature and how much more difficult it was to play the pull shot and the hook shot because of how the ball comes at you. You get into a real good position and then it just doesn't arrive, and then you get into a real good position and it does arrive, so you're able to instinctively just tap it on its head or pull it away. And we all know as batters that if it doesn't arrive, you start to think about different ways to play. And I'm just surprised that Australia haven't yet now gone to the shorter stuff, especially given it's 15 minutes to the close. But these guys are playing nicely.
The interesting thing to me was the way that England kept at it in the sense that they've always talked about entertaining, trying to bring the crowds back to cricket. And really that's been in the context of the way they batted at a rapid run rate. But here they showed they were prepared to be unentertaining, if I might put it that way, with the ball. They just had this, oh my word, Ben Stokes has just got away with a short ball from Cameron Green that he didn't know whether to play or leave, and it looped up.
Wow.
But just evaded the two close catches. But in the afternoon, England showed that they were prepared to kind of un-Bazball it in the field, if I might put it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it worked for them.
It did, and I think that the proof is in the pudding. That is an absolute beauty. Sorry, Ben Stokes is just gone. And it's probably the first indecisive shot that he's played. But it is, and the proof is in the pudding. Part of the evidence that they back up to their big run chases is that it works, and it seems to get a lot more results out of individuals, but predominantly batters. Mm-hmm. They've never had the issue where they've struggled to take wickets. They've always sort of taken attacking fields and attacking mindsets. But this is it growth, probably? Expansion of the game? Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly different.
It is. They're always a little bit different, which is good. But it is, I suppose, yeah, you'd have to say it's growth. They've sat back and watched how Australia played it. They went out and made the same mistakes. They've clearly had a chat in the change room and said what is difficult to do. And even during that quiet period, they've still stuck with it. And I admire their bowlers. I think their bowlers will be in a world of pain tonight. And with a short turnaround for Thursday's game, you envisage quite a lot of changes.
And Stokes himself bowled a 12-over spell, which he bowled that 7-over spell at Edgbaston. But basically, we haven't really seen him with the ball very much. He got through it, but there was a fair bit of wincing along the way. He's clearly not fully right.
No, and I'm looking at the screen because it was about there down a deep square leg that he fielded that one delivery, and he took a little bit of time to get up. Listen, you play with pain. All these players play with pain. There's nobody on that park there that I don't think has some sort of a niggle, unless you're starting on your merry journey. But once you get into an Ashes series, it's hard. It's grueling. And the waft outside off stump.
Ben Stokes is just going through a bit of a tricky period here. He's facing Cameron Green. There's a bit of short stuff flying. He doesn't know whether to play, leave, stick or twist. Much of the same kind of cricket that we've seen in the afternoon. You mentioned pain, but there's levels of pain. Yeah. Nathan Lyon came out, and he might have been on one leg. It was an unbelievable passage of play, wasn't it, when he came out to bat?
Who was it? Was it Graham Smith who walked out to bat at the SCG with a broken hand? Mitchell Johnson had broken his hand, and I think South Africa needed something to happen in that test match, and he walked out. It was almost reminiscent of that. There have been some pretty heroic moments in Ashes cricket, that goes up. Steve Waugh at the Oval when he batted with a calf strain. Didn't he get 100 or something?
He did, but it wasn't as bad a calf strain.
But it wasn't as bad as
that.
No.
But the fact that they pushed him out of the door when he's clearly so far from full fitness just suggests a bit of wariness that they didn't necessarily have enough runs yet. They wanted to get a few more.
They did, and a lot of time left in the game. Possibly they were worried about that. I know Kevin mentioned at tea time the potential, upside and risk of him getting hit or going down, possible concussion replacement. Whether they looked at that, who knows? But huge amount of courage for Nathan Lyon. I mean, everybody has struggled to play the short ball on 2 feet. Yes. He went out there on 1 foot.
And played it pretty well.
He did.
Played it the best.
He did, yeah. So kudos to him.
Well, when England came out, it was a very dramatic start because Mitchell Starc was bowling quickly and he found movement. He got Crawley with a kind of bit of good fortune, really, a tickle down the leg side. But the ball to Ollie Pope was probably as good a ball as you'd get from a left-arm swing bowler at that pace.
At that pace, there's not a lot you can do with it because it actually starts just outside off stump. And as a batter, you're thinking, okay, that's full. It's not short, so I can punch it down the ground as Ben Duckett just now goes to his second 50 in the test match. But it was the late swing and it was the speed at 90 mile an hour.
Is there any way that a batsman there should be thinking, because Pope was looking to play down the ground, down to mid-off. Is there any way in the back of his mind he should be thinking, well, he's looking to swing it and therefore I'm just going to hold and then try and play with a swing? Or is that just too fast and too good?
the way that... Oh, Ben Stokes again is having a flap. Goodness me.
The number of times we've said
Wow.
that.
Just in the last...
It's been the most exciting day to do the podcast.
He's almost hit that straight to cover off the back foot. I think it's the mindset that you get yourself into, but it's also the calibre of player. You look at Joe Root.
Well, I suppose that's where I'm going. Would Joe Root have managed to hit that?
I think he would have got closer to it because of how late he plays the ball and under his eyes.
Later.
Pope was playing out there. Pope was looking for a drive down the ground to get off the mark. Oh, my
Well,
goodness.
it's crunched that.
All
one.
happening
That is
here.
a gorgeous shot from the England captain, a short ball from Mitchell Stark that Stokes has pummeled to the mid-wicket fence. England are 111 for 4.
But it's that push, and it's that push down the ground, which Joe Root doesn't do at the start of his innings. He waits for the ball, plays the ball late underneath his eyes, and he probably says to himself, I'm going to just wait for the swing and see if it's swinging. Easier to do that at 4 when you know it has swung and you've seen that ball in the dressing room. A little bit harder when you're at 1, 2 and 3 and you're facing it for the first time. It's always easier when you can see, okay, you can walk out to bat now and it's swinging, so I need to play a little bit later.
And then Pat Cummins bowled a key spell, two key wickets, the vital wicket of Joe Root and a brilliant bit of bowling.
Excellent piece of bowling. We were talking about what would England's batting look like if they were to chase 371 down, and Joe
Root had to make a score.
Significant score and a pivotal demeanour around the chase, which he did against New Zealand here 12 months ago. And obviously Ben Stokes, the captain, would play the same role. But, you know, tremendous captain, Pat Cummins. Australians for generations have always targeted the best players in the opposition, sometimes the captain. And it was captain against ex-captain that really did produce a brilliant couple of consecutive balls that set him up. Just bounced a little bit and Joe couldn't quite ride it enough and play with soft hands, and it went to first slip. But excellent bowling, which then, you know, bringing in Harry Brook, who's possibly...
It was a brilliant ball to get Harry Brook. I don't think anybody would question that. He was caught on the crease a bit. Is he thinking of the short ball stuff after the first innings?
Possibly.
I mean, it was an excellent delivery.
It is an excellent delivery, and it's held up the slope, so you can totally understand why he's played the line he has. But I'd have to say really good bowling. And early in his innings as well. It's not when he's on 30 or 40 and getting into better positions.
They're going to target Harry Brook with some short stuff, though, aren't they, for the rest of the season?
I think so, just when you see the way that he got dismissed there. I mean, if the three of us were captains of Australia and we saw the way that he got dismissed in the first innings, and not the way that he actually got dismissed, because a couple of flapped at balls like that, but it's just how he's actually defended the short ball that hasn't been too secure, and I think it's the reason why his feet were where they were. But again, I agree with Morgs. He could have easily bowled the bumper there and tested him with it. But it was genius bowling.
Oh, it's accurate, it's fast, and it's exceptional bowling. The thing for me with Harry Brook at the moment is possibly in the first innings he did push the button too early. He's an unbelievably talented guy. He's proved that since his introduction into Test match cricket. But he has all these shots. The skill is choosing when to play them, and he's great people around him that have had lots of success that possibly he might lean on. It was a distinct change in the way he played before Ben Stokes came out to the crease late last night, and then when Ben played. So he can learn as he's going on, as other players have proven throughout the series.
OK, well, England are 112 for 4. We're about 8 minutes away from the close. Fingers crossed that England don't lose any more wickets tonight. This little period tonight, and then the first hour tomorrow is absolutely critical. But they're going quite well at the moment. Duckett's just got to 50. Stokes is 27, 112 for 4.